Today we're looking at 5 of the easiest aquarium plants that you can keep. These plants don't need powerful lighting, they don't require expensive substrate, and they don't need CO2. They are all beginner friendly, and who says they have to be green? Some of these plants can even grow blue and red, purple and pink under the right conditions. I'm going to go over some of my favorites and the basics so you too can have a beautiful plant to tank. And stick around to the last plant because it's easily my favorite and one of the most colorful plants that you can keep. First one is going to be Anubias, one of the most popular in the hobby. They tolerate a wide range of parameters, 6.0 to 8.0, temperatures 74 to 82, low light to medium light, soft water, hard water. They don't care. They'll tolerate anything as long as it's consistent. One of the reasons Anubias is so popular because the huge variety of plants. We have so many available to us as the hobbyists. But the most common version is Barterii, and Barterii has so many variations, like Nana, Nana Petite, Golden, and Variegated, even rare white ones. Some have tiny leaves for the small nano tanks, some have big broad leaves, which is great for the larger tanks. And there's other varieties. When you're looking for texture and shape of leaves, you can get Coffeefolia and Augustifolia. Yeah, the science names are a little tricky, but it helps you decide exactly which plant you're getting. The trade names will definitely help you out. Anubias are what we call a rhizome plant, which means that this little stem piece that runs on the bottom doesn't get planted. Only the roots would go in the substrate. So normally people will put it on a rock or a piece of driftwood, just a few dots of glue, and then stick it to it, give it a few seconds to dry, and it's ready to go. Next is Java Fern. In the aquarium hobby, it's mostly just one version of this plant. I'm going to try the scientific name here, Microsorum pterophus. It comes in a few different forms, standard, Wendeloff, the trident style, mini. They're all very similar versions of the same plant, just like the Anubias. And just like the Anubias, Java Fern is also a rhizome plant, so don't bury that. Attach it to a piece of wood. You can see mine here. This plant is years old. It's been sitting in this exact spot for years. It has grown huge from a tiny 3-leaf plant. Like I said before, you can let the roots grow down to that substrate, but they don't necessarily need to be. Just don't bury that rhizome. Java Fern is really tolerant of a big wide range of parameters of 2. Same huge 60s to 80s in the temperature range, the pH from 6.0 to 8. Low to medium light, they can tolerate almost nothing. It grows really slowly. Because it's a slow grower, it can start growing algae on some of the leaves of the plant. But Java Fern has a cool trick. If the plant leaf isn't really doing so great, sometimes what you'll see is little baby Java Ferns being grown on that leaf. As those get big enough, they can be pulled off and replanted. This is one of the ways the plant propagates, is by taking its energy and putting it into new plants that will break off and go downstream and land in a new place. Your plant is really dying and it's trying to look for a new place to live that has the nutrients they need, so they're doing it as a bailout measure to try and relive in a different area. So it's a sign of stress, so maybe you need something for them. We'll get into that a little bit later. But that's a pretty cool trick, right? Number 3. Crypts, or Cryptocoryne as they really should be called, but we usually call them crypts, and there's so many different variations out there, probably over 70 in the trade. Wavy leaves and textures and broad and thin and colors. You can get red crypts and brown crypts and gold crypts, all different shapes. They are definitely a favorite. Crypts do get planted in the substrate, not like Java Fern or the Anubias. I would say probably one of the most popular is Wendellii, and then there's that version in red, which is a few that I have right here in this tank, and I really do love them. I love the way the textures of the leaf are, and there's all sorts of different ones. We'd be here all day going through the names. And like I said before, they're root feeders, so they may need some root tabs in there to give them some fertilizer. They prefer stable conditions, and this is where some beginners may struggle a little bit, and that's why it's really important to have a good regimen and keep it consistent. Water changes regularly to maintain stable levels. The one thing I can say about crypts is they do not like to be touched. Set it, forget it, don't try and move a crypt. And once again, here's another plant that really prefers stability over a number. Their ranges, again, are pretty big. 70 to high mid 80s easily on the temperature range. 6 to 8.0 pH. Low to medium light. really just anything you really want to throw at it, a crypt will take as long as it's consistently the same all the time. So we've had some colors already, and we still got 2 more plants to go. Number 4 is pearlweed. And let's just say it is what it lives up to. It grows like a weed if the conditions are right. It's great for if you wanted to do a carpet or you wanted to do a mid-ground like little bush. It's easy to trim and easy to shape into what you want it to be. They really call it the poor man's carpet because it's so easy to do. It's often confused with dwarf baby tears, which is a little bit harder of a plant to grow and has a little bit smaller of a leaf, but looks very similar. But you want pearlweed, nice and easy, doesn't require CO2, and with CO2 grows ferociously and pearls, giving off oxygen from the leaves. So it's super versatile, can do a lot for your tank, and especially in a new tank, to really help control some of that nitrate, something fast growing, you can just chop it back down, it comes right back. This is a great plant. It can't hurt to have some root tabs in there, especially in a new tank where there hasn't really been any buildup of nutrients in the soil yet. Once again, a wide range of parameters, 62 to 85, 60 to 7.5, which is usually where most people land with their water. They like soft to moderately hard water. Really, really hard water, they can be stunted by. And for the number 5, my personal favorite, Bucephalandra. It is an absolute beauty of a plant that grows on the riverbanks in Borneo, and it is a delight of different colors, textures, sizes that are available to us in the hobby. There are over 30 recognized species, but really what we see is more of the trade names. So you're going to see brownie, black phoenix, all sorts of made up names to kind of describe the leaves. So the trade names kind of help you describe what it is, but identification wise, we know about 30, I think it is. So one of the ones you may see is like green wavy or brownie blue, black pearl, mini coin, and red minis. There's all sorts of different names out there kind of describing what the plant are, but wild colors can be had from these plants in all shapes and sizes. So this is one you're really going to end up diving into. Just like Java Fern and Anubias, this is another rhizome plant. So it gets attached to wood or rocks, or if it gets put in the substrate, just the roots. Propagates by cutting that rhizome and making more plants out of it, and it'll just continue to grow. In a high-tech tank with strong lighting, they throw amazing iridescent colors like this. And they get even larger with CO2. But in a low-tech setup, they will grow just a little bit slower, maybe just not as big, and maybe not vibrant as much in the colors, but they'll definitely be a color to them. Like crypts, buce is another one that really needs stable conditions. A lot of people wouldn't recommend this for a beginner, but you got your water changes under control, right? As long as you give them stable conditions, you're not going to have any issues with Bucephalandra. A lot of people will have a melt back problem with buce because it does not like that instability change. But as long as the rhizome isn't mushy, leave that plant alone. Give it time. It will come back. Trust me. One thing to keep in mind with the rhizome plants, the Anubias, the Java Fern, and the Bucephalandra, they can be hogs of potassium, and you may need to supplement some extra potassium for them. So sometimes they'll benefit from a little extra dose of potassium fertilizer. If you're starting a plant at aquarium, these can be some of the most forgiving plants out there too. This is why I recommend them. They're hardy and they'll pull through the fight. This tank actually, I think, has every single one of them in there. It's just on steroids with CO2. But what if you're doing everything right and you're still having problems? Don't panic. Because I'm going to break down the 5 most common beginner planted tank mistakes right here.